Hello, my name is Cindy. Thank you so much for coming to this video. We're going to talk about the introduction to Algebra 1, and we're going to start with some terms. Now, in order to do Algebra 1, you need to have a good understanding of the general basics of math up to about 8th grade. You need to know your multiplication tables, positive and negative numbers or integers, and how to add and subtract them, multiply and divide. You should also know your basic terms when you're using adding, subtracting, multiplying, and dividing. And once you have all of those things understood, we're going to start Algebra 1. And Algebra 1, right now, today, we're going to talk about solving linear equations. Now, during this time, if there's anything that you do not understand, there's a vocabulary word that is new to you, please let me know and send me a message at normandcindy13@gmail.com. And I can connect with you, maybe make another video for clarification, or talk to you directly and work these things out. But this is for the beginning of Algebra 1 with solving linear equations. Let's talk about what are linear equations. Well, when you have a linear equation, you're going to want to solve for x. We also say isolate the x or get x alone by itself. So these are the things we are trying to do at the very beginning stages of solving linear equations. A linear equation is actually an equation that is, when you graph it, it will be a straight line. When you are solving an equation in algebra, the goal is to solve for x, as we just stated. So some teachers will say, let's solve for x, or they're going to say, isolate the x, or they're going to say, get x alone by itself on one side. And when we have this equation with a variable, and right now we're talking about one variable, the steps to solve are these. First, you are going to simplify anything you can in the equation. Then you're going to add or subtract. And the third step is multiply or divide. And when you do get an answer, you're going to go back, put it into your original equation, and you're going to see if it works in that equation. So those are the basic steps for solving for x. Linear equations are equations that form a line when they are graphed. The algebraic forms of linear equations are y equals mx plus b. And to start with, your y, your m, and your b will be constant terms. So they will be numbers to start with. And the x will be the only variable. Constant terms are numbers, variables are letters. So those are just some words that you need to know. So let's practice these concepts. So we are going to practice. I am going to share my screen and we will be practicing doing equations. So here we go. We are going to use our rules. First of all, simplify anything you can simplify. Number 2, add or subtract. Number 3, multiply or divide. Okay, so this is our first equation. You might look at it and say, x minus 8 equals 12. I know what x is going to be because I know that 20 minus 8 is 12. That's a no-brainer. I can just look at it. I have students that say, why do I have to follow these algebraic rules if I can just look at it and find the answer? And the reason is these are the easy ones and eventually they get harder. So you do have to know the rules well as we go along. So what you're going to do is you're going to look at the side where there is an X and you are going to say, okay, it says X minus 8. So what can I add to negative 8 to get 0? So negative 8 plus positive 8 is 0. So I'm going to do that to both sides. Now the sides are either side of the equal sign. So if I add 8 on one side, I have to add 8 on the other side, and that makes a balanced equation. Okay, so -8 plus 8 is 0. So I have x alone on one side. 12 plus 8 is 20. Now, when you get an answer, you're going to plug that back into the original equation. We say plug that back in, or we can also say substitute. So we're going to change the x to a 20. We're going to substitute 20 for x. So 20 minus 8 equals 12. 12 equals 12, so I know I got the right answer. So that is check. So this is solve for x. This is check. All right, so that's an easy one. The first rule is to simplify. Okay, so on this one, I see that I have -4 times 6. Now, those parentheses mean times. We learned that in previous lessons. So -4 times 6, you could put the parenthesis, that means times. You could say -4 with a dot, that means times. -4 with a little time symbol, that also means times. If it's a number, a whole number like 3x, there's no symbol in between, that also means times. So if you have a number and a letter, that means times, okay, or multiply. So we're going to erase all that. And now we're going to do -4 times 6. -4 times 6 is -24. And 3x over here. We don't simplify anything over there. So first simplify. Number 2, add or subtract something. Now I have nothing added or subtracted to x. So I'm going to skip that step and go to multiply or divide. If I'm multiplying something by x, I want to multiply something by that number to make 1. So when you're adding, you want to add something to make 0, adding or subtracting. And when you're multiplying, you want to multiply by something to make 1, okay? This is called the additive inverse, -8 and 8. And this is called the multiplicative inverse. The multiplicative inverse of 3 is 1/3. So I can multiply this side by 1/3, and I have to do the same thing to both sides. So in this case, 3 times 1/3 is 1. Okay, I can also say multiply by 1/3, or I could also say divide by 3. Okay, both of those are correct. You can do either one. And then 3 divided by 3 is 1, which is 1x. And I don't usually put a 1 in front of the x. That is understood. So, and then I do -24 divided by 3 is -8. Now I'm going to check. So I go back to the original equation, substitute x with -8. And then -4 times 6 is -24. And so -24 equals -24. So it checks out. All right, so it is correct. Here's another equation. We have 6 times 2/3. So now you need to know your multiplication of fractions. So we're going to put 6 over 1. And we're going to simplify this side first. So 6 divided by 3 is 2. 2 times 3 is 6. Okay, so 6 times 2/3 is, what did I do wrong? Okay, I put a 2 there. Okay, that is incorrect. I gotta change this to a 2. Okay, so that's gonna be 4. So it's always good to continue to check your work. Okay, So A minus 7 equals 4. So now I simplified, which is step number 1. Now I add or subtract. So this is a -7. So I'm going to add a +7 so I can get -7 plus 7 is 0. A equals 11. Now I plug the 11 back into the original equation or substitute. And 11 minus 7 is 4. And so I am done. So what are we doing with algebra? We are solving for x or isolating the x, get x alone by itself. We do this by number 1, simplify anything you can. On the side where the x is, you want to add or subtract. Sometimes we say get rid of this number, but we're actually adding or subtracting to get 0. And then whatever we do to that side, we do on the other side of the equal sign. And then my next step is to multiply or divide. So that is the very beginning of solving algebraic equations with one variable, okay? So eventually we are going to solve equations with 2 variables, but this is the very beginning. And these rules will apply even when you have 2 variables. So number 1, simplify anything you can. Number 2, you add or subtract to get 0 on one side, and then you do the same thing to the other side. Number 3, you multiply or divide. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.